Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Teasing the NFL. Happy New Year to everybody out there. As the new year is 2020.
Hey, perfect vision coming with these playoff games. That's what I'm seeing right
That's
here.
what we're looking for. We're trying to give you that perfect 2020 vision into these games, teasing them the right way and helping you win your money. Now, last week was very interesting because we had really good predictions on Thursday night, leading for Sundays. But then when actual game day came up, the lines, of course, changed on us, and we had to make some changes. I'll let Andrew get into it a little bit, and I'll pull up the stats here in a second.
I don't want to get into it. I purposely partied so hard that I would forget that we told y'all to take the Redskins. Oh my God,
We'll get to that in a minute.
biggest letdown ever. But, Danny and I, we didn't do too bad. There were a lot of differences with our picks last week. For the most part, I think Danny took a lot of over.
Yeah,
unders.
I took a lot
of overs.
I took a lot of overs. Going overall for last week, I went 14-2. The only two bets I missed was Washington's plus 17 and the Denver Oakland game did not go over 35. So I went 14-2. So if I had actually gone with everything that I originally predicted, pretty much everything went to plan, I would have made money.
But I just want to say, that's very impressive. Yeah. 14 and against 2. That's.
Oh, it was great because I was perfect in the noon games. I was 100% perfect. Like, dude, I want to go fucking perfect for you guys.
Wow. And I was just like, dang. I was just like, man, I was like, whoever is following these videos, like, if you pick a person, whether it be Danny or me, man, it's been a good couple weeks since we started. So. Absolutely.
I went 14-2. Andrew missed on a couple more. He went 12-4, but overall records are nice. So since week 14, our teaser choices have gone. I've gone 46-16. Andrew's gone 44-18. And if you hear a lot of sharps out there, a lot of sharps are super happy when they go like 4 for 3, 4-3, or 3-2, because that's positive margin. If you follow our teaser bets and link them up properly, you can make a lot of money off of picking the proper teaser bets and combining them the right way. But that's just our predictions. Now, come Sunday, we both knew that the lines were going to change. And if anything, I was worried the lines were going to change a lot. So when it came down to it, our predictions went as follows before Sunday. So I went Baltimore plus 8 and Washington plus 17. Andrew went Baltimore plus 8 and Houston plus 9.5. But variable things changed. So we both ended up going with Indianapolis at 0 because we got them teased down to nothing. Because I found out the news that Minshew was hurt and Fournette wasn't playing. So I was like, oh yeah, man, they're gonna win, right? It's like easy money, right, dude?
That's a gimme, right?
Yeah, it should have been a gimme. And then we got Washington up to 19 actually because the spread went up by 2 points. So I was like, holy crap, man, Washington, this is really good. We get 19. That's almost 3 touchdowns.
Not 100% Dak Prescott. My boy Case Keenum from UH is going to be throwing, and it just didn't happen this weekend, guys.
We came up so short.
Sorry.
And, I mean, the Baltimore choice that we gave y'all was correct, but he missed on the Houston plus 9.5, and we both whiffed on Washington. So that moved our actual what he calls no sweat bets, or what I call the teaser lock. That moved me to 7-3, Andrew and 6-4, and that's still in the positive in the end. In the end, that's still in the positive, so that's the good thing. Andrew, we don't like chasing our bets. That's something we try to not try to do, but we do it anyway sometimes because we're pretty bad about it. But I ended up partially trying to chase my bet, and I was betting the Sunday night game, Seattle. Was I Seattle over? Yeah, Seattle over.
What a hit.
Yeah, and I was like, I want this, and he's like, no, man, just forget about it. We'll pick it up next week. And I was like, no, just give it to me. I think I've done the analysis properly to feel like this is the way
I was going to do that, but
he couldn't get the bet in
busy
on time.
Yep.
He was at work. He couldn't get the bet in on time. So I was like, okay, that's okay. Doesn't matter. Anyways, I would have been in the positive had I been able to get that in because Seattle and the over both hit. Pretty good, actually. I was like, man, holy. And Seattle nearly won it. Seattle was like 3 inches from winning the game.
Oh God, Marshawn, Skittles man came back. Actually made a difference. But I mean, oh well, marginally so.
Yeah.
Marginally. Yeah. I just feel like goal line though, it's done deal.
Yeah, it pretty much
done deal for sure. But on to Saturday now, Danny, you have a lot more chance to make back that money, and so do I.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people do out there. Wildcard weekend's a really fun weekend to do. What I found out in doing the research is that there's going to be a lot of public betting on this, obviously, because people are going to come in for the weekend and want to bet on these playoff games. Because there's only 4 games to play on. And the second thing is that you've got Saturday and Sunday, 1 game apiece. You don't have to worry about, multiple games at the same time. So you can break your bets down like we did during Thanksgiving. Not Thanksgiving, Christmas. And so that's where we hit multiple times, and that's kind of, at least for me, I know that's the strategic plan I'm going with. Are you going to try and split? Are you going to split your bets, or are you going to go day by day?
No, just like how I think it was week 16 that was
Christmas,
really good week. You make your money as early as you can, so that you don't have to bet the later games. But as far as like strategies goes, like stacking one important game that you feel strongly on, you can definitely do that. But for me, I think I'm just going to be a little conservative more and just bet the Saturday games first, and then probably bet the Sunday games.
I'm going to be a little different. I'm going to be pretty aggressive when it comes to betting because Saturday looks pretty good to me. Like
New year, new Danny. There we go.
It's kind of true, but I might be pretty aggressive. I was aggressive on week 17 last week.
You sure were.
I was a little. It kind of bit me in the ass, but as I've been telling him, I've been trying to tell you guys, I've been trying to go. Make sure my analysis and numbers are correct, and then make sure my instinct to go with it, because obviously we both missed out on the Green Bay KC week 16. We missed out on the Green Bay money line, and instinctually, I should have been more on it.
Oh, and I'm just gonna back it up a little bit. Can we talk about Miami?
Oh God.
Yeah, we got to talk about Miami.
Miami's not the playoffs, so I don't care. But yeah, go for it.
Hey, but you know who was in the playoffs? Tom Brady and the Patriots.
And we're definitely gonna get to him.
Oh my goodness gracious me. Just to let y'all know, if you don't remember, the money line for Miami was $750.
If you went on the opening lines was 1,000 plus.
Yeah, but no one would ever think, right? So that's
there are some people out there who believe in the fact that regardless of who's playing who, or if you bet in like boxing or MMA, there's always a chance the underdog can win. So if you're giving somebody 10-1 odds, there are plenty of people out there who take it just because it's such good value. So and this isn't just a robot playing a robot. These are teams, humans playing humans. There are factors. Emotions get in the way. Physical. This is a physical game.
Dolphins got in the way for the Patriots, dude. That was
and Brady showed his
awesome.
Brady showed age. Let's call it what it is. He's no young gun, that's for sure. So we're gonna analyze. We're gonna get.
I think that's gonna
a lot of
foreshadow into some predictions here.
But we'll start on Saturday. And if you didn't realize it, obviously the AFC plays first Saturday, so that will get decided. Then you'll know where your divisional matchups are, and then Sunday is all the NFC games, and then those divisionals will be made after those games are decided. So we'll move to the first game. Late afternoon game for Buffalo at Houston. And right here, you'll have to do that again here in a minute. But first playoff game, Houston is -2.5, and the total is 44. Buffalo gets teased up to 8.5, and Houston gets teased down to +3.5. Your over gets teased down to 38, and your under gets teased up to 50. So now you may demonstrate who you're. Yeah.
Right here, son.
Right there.
Right here. Day one.
But that's who he supports.
I mean, I wish I could have dressed up in this nice little suit right here, America. I find it very charming.
As somebody,
very stylish.
As the person who's trying to host this and keep this together, I feel like I have to be, somewhat dressed appropriately. And I'm trying out the jacket this time just to see, how. And it's a nice contrast because, the cool thing is we think a little bit differently. So why not make it look a little different?
Absolutely. So I was actually going to give Danny is a Steelers shirt, but I realized they weren't.
They're not in the playoffs.
Oh, oh my
all right.
God! So
I kind of gave up on him a few weeks ago, but I'm here to make money. That's what I care about.
Yeah, apparently so. So where are you on this one, Danny?
Okay, so I feel the overall easy value is on Buffalo, 8.5. This game is going to be close. If anything, Buffalo's got a really good chance to win overall. Their defense is so good, and Houston's offense, you don't always know what you're going to get, especially when you don't have Will Fuller. Because Fuller's not there, they can put a few more eyes on D-Hop, and so there's a lot more concentration on them. They don't run the ball very well. Kenny Stills is really not a good number 2 wide receiver. You do have Deshaun Watson, who's awesome running, really good passer, but his line hasn't always been consistent enough to hold defenses off. So that's one side of that concern. The other side of that concern for the Texans is that defense is just not as good as it is as it was at the beginning of the season. You had J.J. Watt. Now Watt should be coming back. Now the question is with Watt do you get the same old J.J. Watt, or is this kind of he needs a game to get back into the flow?
Oh no,
you don't know.
Oh God! Just like Marshawn coming back, JJ's coming back with a vengeance, baby.
Yeah, I know, but Marshawn just chilled at home. JJ's been working himself back from an injury, so it's a lot different than that.
Working, so he's about to put in that work against the Bills, baby.
It's different, but it doesn't matter because for me, Buffalo may not have the best offense in terms of passing, but Houston's pass defense has been pretty bad as of late. And if you kind of think of this game like 2 weeks ago they played Tampa Bay, and Jameis Winston had something like 5 turnovers in that game, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, including 1 pick six at the very beginning.
The very beginning was a pick six.
But if you look at the final result of that game, Houston only won by 3.
Which was very alarming and scary.
So you have to think to yourself, well, if they're barely scraping by, the off-throwing, intercepting Jameis Winston and the Bucs, and they can barely beat them by 3, what happens when they take on a legitimate defense?
I mean, I'm just hoping and praying that J.J. Watt checks in as a tight end. Just like that one season where he caught
that was
3 touchdowns.
That was 4 years ago, I think.
That was 4 years ago?
I think it was.
He needs to play tight end again. He's just like a slower Gronk.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea at all. I think that's actually where, the Texans are going to do, because as Danny just said before, if you put man coverage on D-Hop, they shut him down it's just about every game. And if we don't have Will Fuller, there's really no one else. Kenny, he's just okay, like you said. But they'll just leave him open and they'll drop balls. And now I think they're actually feeding him more to the tight end. Is it Fells?
Yeah, Darren Fells and Jordan Akins.
Yeah. But even so, their yardage is just kind of dismal. You might actually be surprised about what I'm picking.
You're taking Houston?
I wanted to take Houston. Yeah. I know I'm wearing one of these, but I like the over, actually. The over.
I don't. I don't like the over. Buffalo's held most of their opponents, especially in the last 6 weeks, to 17 points or less. That's how good that defense is. That includes, on average, albeit they were beaten by the Patriots, but they held the Patriots to, I think, 20 or 23 or 24.
Yeah.
Their defense is super stout. So if I'm picking a total set, I personally take the under. And Houston might have the offense to be able to get to that over, but I feel safer taking the under instead of the over.
I'm just being a hopeful fan, seeing that I know what this offense is capable of. I know that, hey, if someone's scrambling in the pocket, if Deshaun is scrambling and he gets like 15 yards here and like 20 there, it's going to stack up. And I'm thinking that some of these defenses might have a couple pick sixes too, which I'm not,
That's not a bad way of thinking, because, Josh Allen may not be the precision passer that, like somebody like Mahomes is, but he's been a little bit safer with the ball, at least recently from my memory. So part of the reason why I roll to the under here is because if I'm predicting because my side that I'm picking here is Buffalo at 8.5. If I'm feeling like they're gonna
Keep it close.
if they're gonna keep it close, that means it's a lot of defense, thus under.
I mean, close games can go either way, man. Either way. But man, if I had to choose this game, it's so hard denying Houston. I mean, I can see where Danny's value is at Buffalo plus 8.5.
Yeah.
I mean, if this game is close, I mean, it's a done deal.
Yeah, if this game is close, Buffalo plus 8.5 is pretty much a guarantee.
Right.
And I'm expecting this game to be close.
Me, however, I'm expecting this game to be close too, but I feel that
With a lot of scoring.
yes, and that the Texans will not lose. I know we should have bet with our heart, but thinking about it, the Texans are the better team. And everything on paper looks good, and I know that's just setting myself up for failure.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, but I mean, with the return of J.J. Watt, I feel like a new kind of energy is going to take on that defense. Maybe, just like how Denver came over and just like bent us over and smacked our bottom, and we're just like, what the heck? That's what we're going to do to the Bills this Saturday. So that's my 2 cents. Leave it at that.
What are you taking?
I'm taking Houston.
Houston plus 3.5.
Houston
It's not
plus
bad.
3.5.
It's not too bad because
I
you
can still
get the
lose by a
field goal.
touchdown. But I still lose
You
by
still
a
get
field
the field goal.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing. This is one of the few, and it's actually, and I'm going to go into this in a little bit later, but this is one of the games where multiple teasers are likely to hit. I feel like the spread is about where it needs to be, just under a field goal. This game is about a field goal to under a field goal, so the spread should cover both ways, assuming it stays close. The total is almost where I think it needs to be at 44. 38 is very attainable, especially if Houston dominates this game a little bit more than I'm predicting, then 38 over is going to hit, because the Bills will get some points on, and then from there it's all about Houston picking up the rest of it. But the under will hit even in a close shootout like what Andrew may be thinking. This game is probably going to hit the under. So theoretically, you could get all 4 of these teasers to hit, which has actually happened quite often. Last week, I think there were 2 games that all 4 teasers hit, and week 16, 3 games where all 4 teasers hit.
Right. When Vegas gets the number really well, it's actually a winner for everybody, because you're looking at, we don't have the same lines. Remember, we tease these down. That's why there's value to these lines. So it's like, oh man, like I'm glad I teased this bet. Like it's literally right down the middle, and you'll just be like scratching your head, like, man, if I didn't tease this bet, I would have pushed or I would have lost. So that's when teasing is good for you.
I will say a lot of sharps right now are on Buffalo more. Especially with the early line moves. This line started at 3, and everybody took Buffalo at 3.
Oof, that's scary.
And then that's why it's at 2.5 right now. So the public, I don't know where the public's going to. I personally am not sure where the public's going to go. But there are a lot of teasers out there, and one of them is Buffalo, and one of the combinations has Buffalo in it, because having the 8.5, getting it over 7, getting it over 3, gets you in that really nice variance safe zone of betting. But this is a game that I don't think the spread's going to move at all. I think it stays at 2.5, and I think the value just carries a little bit too much with Buffalo. Is there a chance Houston blows them out? Of course. It's Deshaun Watson. The dude's a monster. You got D-Hop on that side. But, man, that's a really stout Buffalo defense.
Do you know how devastated I would be if first of all, if we lost?
If we lost or Houston lost?
Well,
Our bets
obviously, I would be devastated if financially we lost. But seeing the Texans come so far, and I know as a fan, our window is closing, man. We need to make this move, and it needs to be now. But yeah, I would be devastated if we could not get to the first round of playoffs. Texans have always we've always made it to wild card weekend.
We lost last year.
We did? To who?
Colts.
No.
Remember last year I said I should have bet the Colts money line because I would have gotten almost 2-1.
We lost to the Colts. Oh, well, okay. I mean, but besides that,
yeah.
Usually we'll get eliminated second round.
In the divisional, yeah.
Patriots. That's it.
Yeah. Speaking of the Patriots, we move on to the Saturday night game.
Oh, God. Here
Tennessee
we go.
at New England. So, New England is the favorite at -5. Your total is 44.5. So, Tennessee gets moved up to +11, and New England gets the tease over the 0 across and to +1. To the +1. The over gets moved down to 38.5, and the under gets moved up to 50.5. This, the more I thought about this and was analyzing it more today, the more I realized that, man, I love Tennessee at +11, but you still got to slay the dragon that is Brady and Belichick in Buffalo in the playoffs. Interesting fact, though, that New England has not played a wild card game in 10 years. The last time they were in the wild card was 2009.
Did they lose?
I don't remember. I didn't look it up. Look it up. And,
They probably did. They probably did.
But you know who?
Oh, man.
I'll look it up. I'll put the stat up later.
God, betting against Tom Brady. So we bet against him, what, like 3 weeks in a row?
I've done it 5 times this year. We did it 3 weeks. We didn't do it last week, but we did it twice.
But we told, well, at least I told.
Well, I recommend. I mean, we both kind of recommended it.
Miami
Ooh. Plus 22 was just too nice
great
to get away with, man. You're just like, dude, can they really put 21 on them? Like, there's a chance they could, but
yeah, for sure.
It didn't. But man, it's tough to watch New England right now, and I've been saying, he can attest to this. I've been saying it for the past 3 years. I said, Brady's gonna fall off a cliff one day. And I think it's starting to happen. For as much as everybody wants to be like, oh man, it's Tom Brady, it's Bill Belichick. I'm like, well, that's great, but you also have to look at the weapons around him, and you have to think at some point, age is going to catch up to him. Like, he could be superhuman, yes, but, Tom Brady's still human at 42, 43, 85, however old he is at this point. And, man, he did not look good against Miami.
Oh, still the GOAT.
Rough.
Still the GOAT, though.
Yeah, it's great, but this isn't 10 years ago. So this is totally different. And
I get that.
And I'm very much willing to do this because New England has lost at home twice now. So I have no issue betting against New England right now because they haven't proven anything to me that says, oh, they're going to wake up one day. No, they haven't. If anything, I'm feeling more confident every time I watch them being like, yeah, it's no longer just the rock rolling down the hill. It's now walking off the cliff, and they're going to hit the freaking floor at some point.
And you think this weekend will be the floor?
Very possibly. I haven't made a decision fully yet because I have a feeling this line might change. This line started I think this line started at either 4.5 or 5.5, and then there was some movement. But honestly, going both ways, Tennessee plus 11, that gets you over 10 points. That's really nice. And then the other side of it is you're basically asking New England to just win the game. So I am very much myself of the opinion that I like teams coming into the playoffs who have a really nice defense, really good running game, and I always like teams that follow what I call are in good form, as in they've been winning their past, 3, 4, 5 games. I'm not big on teams that have gone 10 in a row, i.e. Baltimore, but that's coming next week. But I love teams that start to build that momentum around week 13, week 14, possibly week 15. Tennessee's been doing that. Tennessee's been looking really good. Yes, they lost to New Orleans, but they didn't have their running game. So I'm kind of on the train of Tennessee right now to the point where if I like everything that I'm looking at, the money line's at plus 200. That looks pretty appetizing to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
are you feeling anti-Brady again, man?
I mean, I do, but I realize that it's playoff time, man. Yeah. They're gonna kick it into another gear.
But my question to that is, how good is your next gear? If everything around, if the car you're driving is a running POS that's running on fumes, and sparks are flying everywhere, and you got steam coming out.
Who knows, man?
How good is that really? And this Tennessee team is like legit good.
You know, the car doesn't have to run well. You know, as long as you get some momentum and it goes downhill, it's still gonna go. It's still gonna
this
work.
This isn't going downhill. This is.
I know.
This is a straight line track, and you know, even like a bicycle goes faster than a car that's broken down.
It's like the tortoise and the hare, man. Slow and steady wins the race. I feel.
That's a really good point because Tennessee's going to want to run the ball a lot.
Yeah, this is true. But you know, like Danny just said before, he likes teams with really good form, really good defense, which kind of
Defense
reminds
wins
me of
championships. That's what they
Okay,
say.
yeah, that's true. So in this case, do you think Tennessee's defense is better than New England's defense?
If Tennessee gets Adoree Jackson, who has practiced, that's going to help them. If they get Adoree Jackson, I want to say they're about even.
Oh man,
The defenses are about even. Now that's different than me saying Tennessee's defense versus New England's offense, and then New England's defense versus Tennessee's offense. That's different.
So you for sure think that the more explosive, how do I say, productive offense is the Tennessee Titans?
Absolutely, they've clearly proven it.
Ryan Tannehill.
It's not about Ryan Tannehill and what he, and
it is about Ryan Tannehill.
It kind of is, but I can't help but think that they're gonna want to control the ball. Derrick Henry's gonna get a lot of touches.
He's a beast too.
And New England's run defense is okay, but it's not that good. So you want to control the clock, and Henry's a freaking boatload to take down. He can grind out that defense pretty well, and if you keep Brady off the side, if you keep Brady on the sidelines, he's gonna get super frustrated.
I just have those numbers in my head. What was it? 28 and 3 to 28. That happened here in Houston, Super Bowl.
Oh,
God, it's just
yeah.
Oh, you're going against the comeback king again, and he couldn't pull it off. He couldn't even pull it off against Miami. Which is concerning. Yeah. But, as Bill Belichick would say, we're on to the Titans. We're on to Tennessee.
Here's another interesting fact, and this goes to the Buffalo game as well. Quarterbacks who are starting their very first playoff game are something like 10-33 against the spread.
God,
or
really?
13. I think it's 10. I think it's something like 10-30 straight up, and something like 13-33 against the spread. So quarterbacks playing their very first playoff game do not do well, and that's not a surprise. I mean, clearly experience. It shows that experience. If you've had experience playing in the playoffs, you understand the pressure. You understand the amount of the depth of your one and done in the playoffs. So it makes a lot of sense, but I'm basing all of my choices, or at least the two AFC choices, purely on value, on points value. Buffalo 8.5, of course, but Tennessee at 11, that's over a touchdown, and New England really hasn't proven to me that they're going to open up a team anymore. Edelman's still not 100%. They can't get the running game going. For some reason, Tom Brady decided not to throw to James White very often. They're only running really Rex Burkhead at this point. Sonny Michel, I think it has some kind of lingering.
And he's a fumble machine.
Yeah, and they don't
Rex
have
Burkhead.
And they don't have anybody else to throw to. There's no Gronk. There's no secondary third wide receiver.
What about my boy Philip Dorsett? He's garbage.
He's got no one to throw to, and then the defense can only hold for so long. So, and even then, the defense has kind of struggled a little bit. So that's where I'm feeling. I'm leaning towards Tennessee plus 11 right now. Because I feel like the game's going to be close. If a game is always going to be close, I'm going to take the bigger. I'm going to take the points, the bigger amount of points. So Buffalo 8.5, and here Tennessee. Now, if I feel like New England's just going to win the game, I don't care how much they win it by. If I'm really confident they're going to win the game, I'll take New England. And if you're on New England, you might as well just take New England across the zero at this point.
Oof. I don't know where
but I can. This. I mean, the thing is, I can really see New England losing this game. That's the reason why I'm taking.
I think
points.
Everybody can see.
No, I can legitimately see him struggle.
Yeah, and then
not just like getting unlucky or something. I can see him just getting super frustrated in the third quarter.
Oof.
Because they're down by 13. and it's like 13-3.
Oh, you would like that.
Or 16-3 or
You
something.
said pretty 13-3
Yeah,
in the
hell
third
yeah.
quarter.
No, they're losing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
that's why the money line's so slightly appealing to me, just because I always try and go for my money line values, and I think it's a winnable game. I think it's a very winnable game. They have what I call legitimate puncher's chance to win the game. So
Yeah.
it's not a bad choice.
And honestly, I feel like everyone's a little tired of the Patriots going on this and that. I mean,
Me too.
It's a dynasty.
I've been tired of them for like 10 years.
Dude, yeah, I know. Don't tell me about it. We are always like their first round bye. The Texans have always supplied the Patriots
They've also run
a gateway.
They've also run
to the
into my
Super Bowl.
Steelers a bunch of times, so that's never gone well for my Steelers either.
No, it has not. But yeah, Tom Brady going out like this, man. That's against the Tennessee Titans. No.
They're up and coming,
oh
man.
My God!
You gotta get bias out of your head. You have to have recency bias out of your head. You have to just take these teams for who they are.
And I was just thinking about that stat you said. So like the first time QBs, playoffs.
In the playoffs, there's something like 10-13. I'm 10-30 straight up, and something like 13-30 or yeah. I think there's 16-30 straight up and 13-33 against the spread, something like that. So obviously the numbers are not against them, but I'm not the biggest fan of trends and angles because you're not just running numbers, you're running people out there in a physical game. They're going to be playing for something.
Yeah, this is true. But it's always good to look at something just like how Kirk Cousins has nine losses
on Sunday night or Monday night, whatever it is. Yeah.
Whew,
Monday night. It's Monday night. Yeah.
That's a doozy. But then you also look at when you said that stat, and I was going a little sidetracked. I thought of Patrick Mahomes. I thought of last year's game. That was his first year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
But that wasn't the first game he played. That was the second game he played.
Well, I'm pretty sure the first game. Okay, so it was against the Raiders, right? KC against the Raiders.
I don't know.
But anyway, I thought he was great. I also thought about Scam Newton back in the day.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a couple exceptions to the rule. I mean, like Ben Roethlisberger won his very first game, but he didn't cover the spread. But like Watson lost his game. That was his first playoff game against the Colts.
God.
I mean, Trubisky lost his first game. I mean, but it's
bad news bears.
But you take the personnel along with the numbers that you get. So I'm taking a good personnel in my opinion. Now Tennessee's defense has kind of fallen off just a little bit, but you're taking a really good, what I consider a young team that's got a lot of energy, and you like it. You like watching them. You like watching how they play. And then you got New England on the other side, who kind of feels kind of like old. They feel kind of like, it's New England. Yeah, they've got a good chance to win, but man, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm just not feeling that it's good. That's why I have to take Tennessee with the points.
Yeah, I think you're in the right direction too, because if this game is what it is supposed to be the up and coming versus the dominant, the reigning, right? And they're gonna keep it close, regardless. Yeah. Tennessee plus 11.
All right, yeah. Do you like any of the total sides?
I was actually looking at the under.
And I'm looking at the over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think there are going to be quite a few touchdowns scored in this game. 21-28 gets you... No, sorry. I did my math wrong there. 20-24 gets you there. 20-23 gets you there. 20-21 gets you there. All those are close games.
I don't know.
17-21 gets you there. 17-23 gets you there.
So you're thinking New England can still score?
I think they'll have a chance. I mean, look at what happened like 3 weeks ago when Mahomes was like dominating the game, but Brady's still like, I gotta freaking force this thing into him, and he was close. It was close.
A lot of his fourth quarter drives have been falling short this year.
Yeah, he had. I mean, their drive against Miami fell very short.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Brady's good enough to keep it close. You take a really great quarterback, they'll always make a game of it. It's very rare for a really great quarterback to get blown out. So
and
I expect it to be close.
Yeah, seeing that it's close, even when it is close, and the Patriots' backs are against the wall, they still have to cover up those points. And if you took the 11 points, even if they went by a touchdown, you're still okay.
Still good. You're still good by a touchdown and a field goal.
Yeah, just as long as there aren't any other mess-ups that happen.
Obviously, and there's a lot of variables that could happen. Somebody gets hurt, fumbles, penalties, all that stuff. But you go with your straight line math numbers, and 11 just looks too good right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
And if you feel good enough, you can think about the money line. Just think about it a little bit. Here's another piece of analysis that's really interesting, and I want you to think about this for a second. So the money line on New England is minus 240, right? Mm-hmm. So if you tease New England to +1, you basically get them would be a pick'em, and a pick'em is usually at minus 110. So if you think about your overall value of your teaser spread equaling your money line, you're actually getting superb value, getting a teaser to zero, basically getting a team to 0 at the same thing as a money line.
You could play it like that.
Yeah.
You definitely could.
This is another game also, I think, that both sides of the spread will cover.
Both
sides of the teaser will cover the spread. You know, there was a game there was a wild card weekend, something like 5-8 years ago, where all tease spreads covered. It didn't matter which side of the spread tease you covered on all 4 of the games. They all
over under.
Hit. No, not the over under, just the spread. Just the spread on each team. All 8 of them hit.
Huh.
It's insane. Caesar's Palace almost died that day because they took so many teasers.
Oh, trust me, I bet you they'll make it back. They always do. We keep the lights on.
They lost their ass. I really think they lost their ass. But we'll move on to the NFC. These 2 games are on Sunday. You have Minnesota at New Orleans. New Orleans is minus 7.5, and your total is 49.5 right now. Minnesota gets teased up to 13.5, and New Orleans gets teased down to minus 1.5. Your over moves down to 43.5, and your under moves up to 55.5. I don't like Minnesota at all. I know the numbers don't necessarily agree with that, but I fully think that this is New Orleans' game to win because they're at home. They love playing in the Superdome, and I just don't see Kirk Cousins doing enough.
That and they played the Panthers, or I don't know what they were doing with the Panthers. They
could have pulled everybody at halftime, but Sean Payton was like, let's just run the score up.
Oh my God, it was a massacre. It was just like, what are you doing? Why are these people still playing?
Brady had 5 touchdowns on his own, right? Something like that.
You mean Breeze?
Yeah, Breeze.
I was like, Tom Brady? Oh man, not
Breeze
this night,
had 5 touchdowns on his own, I think. That was nuts.
Yeah. Almost like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, it was Lamar Jackson-esque almost, minus all the running.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you with me on New Orleans?
Pretty much, yeah. I just, God, Kirk Cousins.
Are you feeling for any type of reason at all to want to bet Minnesota here?
No, not really.
I mean, it's 13.5 points, dude. It's almost 2 touchdowns.
13.5 points.
That's pretty nice.
But the Saints are volatile in a way that you just don't know.
No, I would say Minnesota's volatile.
Well, I mean, let me get to the point, because New Orleans, they can beat their opponent by 7 or 70. It's just you just never know. So of course it's just it's a playoff game. They might keep it close. It's literally 2 touchdowns. So if I get a field goal here, field goal there, throw the numbers off a little bit, I would feel good about it. But unfortunately, I think New Orleans is playing with a chip on their shoulder. They were in the deserving spot last year. They're going to prove...
And the Minnesota Miracle the year before.
Yes, they're going to prove that, hey, this doesn't mean jack. We're going to take this year. And I'm
not the biggest fan of, revenge ideas or things like that, or getting back at it, because I don't know how much that really factors into your mind as a player. Now, I'm not a professional, so I don't know, but I know when I played soccer or football, I never gave 2 shits about revenge. I just went out and tried to play my heart out. I mean, so I don't know. I don't really get it, but I know some teams do like to feed into it.
Yeah, you gotta have that mindset. I think that mindset of, yo, we've been here before, and the Saints have been here before. First of all,
Plenty.
It's not their
Breeze,
first.
Breeze and Peyton have been there plenty of times.
Yeah, and it's just literally, it's the Saints.
Yeah.
At home, we've been telling you guys all 3 weeks.
And the Saints have been awesome covering their spreads.
Oh
They've been
my
super
God,
good covering the spreads.
Like literally, if you would have bet the same game, Saints over, Saints over, Saints over. Sometimes the Saints get the over by themselves.
They did last week. They covered the over by themselves.
Unbelievable, man. And I think for the past home games, it's always been around like 35 plus, if not 40.
Yep.
So now that turns me to another number, which kind of gets my attention right here. The over at 43 and a half. I kind of actually don't like that number.
I don't either. A lot of the sharps actually like 55 under. A lot of the sharps like the under already. A lot of them were betting it. So this line has moved down. It started, I think, at 49 or 49 and a half, and a lot of the sharps took the under on that, and so they got it all the way down to 45.
Yeah, I feel because we
No,
just
I got
said,
that wrong. Sorry. This line was the total started, I think, at 45, and then it moved up to 49 and a half because a lot of them were taking overs, but they've been pounding unders a lot now. Speaking of the sharps, this spread line started at 8 and a half, and the sharps were all over Minnesota at 8. Like all the sharps bet this down from 8 to 7 and a half. So that got me thinking a little bit in terms of, do I think New Orleans is going to win this game, or are they going to win this game? Okay, do I think New Orleans is going to win this game? Yes. The question is by how much, but the teaser takes care of that for me because they can win by a field goal and still feel safe. The sharps are thinking about getting over a touchdown.
Yeah, dude, it's the Saints.
Saints
at home.
My worry is I feel so much more comfortable with just a Saints win, just a win over 2 points, versus Minnesota hanging on for dear life by 13 points.
Yep. I would have to agree. When you're riding high and you're just like, yeah, you're kind of rooting for the home team. Oh, well, it doesn't matter about the home team.
The one thing that worries me is New Orleans' defense is not as good as it's perceived. They had major issues against San Francisco. That defense also did not do that well against Tennessee. So that's what worries me a little bit, is that defense.
A little bit. But I just think that Kirk Cousins, they have to muster up something. Because Dalvin Cook said he's going to be 100%.
Dalvin Cook is going to play. He's not going to be 100%. Alexander Madison's also good to go. So the run game is going to be there. They're going to want to pound the rock, obviously. You want to keep your opponent on the sidelines. But I don't know if they're going to be able to execute it properly, because the question is, you can try and run it efficiently as much as possible, but at some point you're going to ask Kirk Cousins to get you a bunch of touchdowns, and I don't know if he can do it. It's the same thing. It's the same kind of thought process that people have with New England, is that, can you slay the dragon that is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick? Well, Minnesota is, can Kirk Cousins slay his dragon and get over the hump? I don't feel like he can.
Not only that, but there's just way too many options in New Orleans offense. I mean, first of all, Drew Brees, he is getting old too. I will say that.
Of course
his
he is.
arm strength is not nearly.
Yeah, but he has Kamara, he has Latavius Murray,
right?
And Kamara's also been really good.
Yeah, he
Last
has.
couple games, he's been hitting his form. The injury kind of slowed him down a little bit, but past 2-3 games, he's really hit his form.
They got Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Michael
buddy.
Thomas, yeah. So and Minnesota's got a pretty good defense, but one of the other things is their pass defense is terrible, just god awful terrible. So Xavier Rhodes is once a Pro Bowler. He's like a shadow of a former self now.
I know, it's crazy, right? He used to kind of be getting all these interceptions.
Yeah, he was. He was like kind of a ball hawk, kind of. He was the shutdown corner you could depend on, but he hasn't really done that this year. So if this turns into a shootout of sorts, you got to take New Orleans here.
Yeah, I'm very inclined to agree. I don't like the over number. I just feel that's a little, God, which would mean that if I didn't like the over, I should like the under, right? But, with New Orleans, you just never know. It could just be a blowout.
There's a theory out there. There's a couple theories, and one of the theories is that Minnesota's going to try and slow the game down by running. If they're successful at being able to run, that leans under. That leads under.
Well,
But I don't know that they're going to be able to slow the game down. I don't know that they're going to be able to execute it. So I lean very heavily towards New Orleans here. It's the best thing that feels right. Now, I kind of expect like New Orleans to win by anywhere from 7 to 10 points. And again, both teasers will hit at 7 to 10 points here. So you could feel safe at taking either side. I just feel a lot safer taking New Orleans to just win outright by 2 or more points.
I just don't see him losing.
I don't see him losing either. So the downside to taking Minnesota is, and this is what happened to us last week with the Redskins, is that the number looks so good, but that number can be beat at any time. And I feel like if Kirk Cousins doesn't show up, if he chokes in primetime, he's going to throw 3 picks. So that's my worry against him. So I think, are we both taking New Orleans? -1.5?
Yeah.
All right. So if you had to pick a teaser total side, do you lean the over or the under?
Adam Thielen is out.
He's in.
He's
They got the big 3.
Huh, that's so weird. Stephon Diggs in too. They're just boomer bust people, man.
Well, here, 20 to 24 gets you the over.
Man, that just sounds so easy.
It does.
I mean,
it really does.
When you put it that way, right? And then it's like, oh, well, sometimes the Saints can score 40 points by themselves.
Yeah,
and
which
they're
they
at
did.
home. So, with that being said, if I had to choose a total on this game, I don't like the number, but
I don't either.
I would still take it.
I don't blame you, honestly. But, I mean, just listening to a lot of sharps and everything, I usually am not the biggest fan of taking their advice 100% because I like some of my own reasoning in it and personal thoughts in the analysis that I do. So I'm not the biggest fan of following the sharps at under 55.5, but I feel like playoffs tend to not have giant score lines, at least from my memory. There are some, of course, but games tend to be a little tighter in the playoffs.
Okay.
Has Kirk Cousins ever played in the playoffs? Yeah. He didn't play last season, I know that. Did the Redskins ever get in?
Nope.
So it's also his first time.
Ah, that's right. But I mean, he's still a good QB.
I'm not saying he's not.
Hey, we called out somebody last week. Did we say the right thing?
Yeah, and I failed.
You failed?
Yeah.
We called somebody out and we failed.
Yeah.
Well, let me publicly apologize. Well, hold on. Did we both fail?
No,
or?
I did. I called out Marco D'Angelo for choosing Jacksonville, which was terrible because they should have lost. Unreal.
Oh man. Oh.
So, all right, take New Orleans here. This is a game I think is not going to be as boom as people think it is. So I'm going to go again with the situation here that both teasers will hit, but I feel safer with New Orleans.
I do too. Once again, I don't see New Orleans losing this weekend. Not at all. It's just, dude, Sean Payton is an offensive genius, first of all.
Yes, he is.
He has all the necessary tools. So it will come down to, hey, who gets, like, if we get the ball on offense, we're going to score.
Yeah.
We're going to score every single drive. And the Vikings' mentality, their game plan is like, all right, we need to keep the ball.
Control the clock.
Yep.
Run the ball, pound the ball, keep Breeze on.
And they got to score too. I mean,
Yeah,
they
of
got to play with some urgency. Like, this is going against Drew Brees. This is the Saints at their house in the Superdome. So
extra loud Superdome.
they gotta bring it, or else they're just gonna get tossed to the wayside. Which I think will happen. I think the Vikings will get tossed to the wayside, and
I don't know if they're going to get tossed to the wayside. I think they're going to struggle some, and New Orleans is just going to play a really good game. All right, final game of the wild card is Seattle at Philadelphia. Philly Seattle is the favorite at -1.5. Your over/under is 45.5. Seattle gets teased across the 0 to 4.5, and Philly gets teased up to 7.5. The over gets teased down to 39.5, and your under gets teased up to 51.5. So when the opening lines came out on Monday, the spread odds were actually flipped. So Philly was actually the favorite at -1.5. But when Tuesday came around, a lot of people started betting on Seattle, and then the Vegas books started moving Seattle into the favor, which is somewhat justified, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to think about all the Philly injuries and that they've had to barely make it.
But they find a way to win.
I get
find a way to win,
yeah,
man.
well, that's the same thing as like Brady finds a way to make it win somehow. But at some point, your luck either runs out or the talent against you just catches up to you at some point. Now, Seattle doesn't necessarily have all of the talent because they've got injuries in their own right. But, looking at the numbers from my perspective, and I'm always trying to find really good value, I feel like I've been so back and forth on this because when I got Seattle on the opposite side at 7.5, that was a gimme. But when the lines flipped, I started thinking about, is Philadelphia really worth it at 7.5? And so my original choice was Seattle at +4.5 because I was like, well, at least I get it over a field goal. But then listening to a lot of sharps and looking at the way the numbers have gone, Philly feels like it's a little bit better of a choice. And I don't know. What do you feel like?
Well, before I dive into that, let's talk about MVP status. Besides Lamar Jackson, which he has already won,
yeah,
would you consider Russell Wilson as an MVP quarterback?
Yeah, I think he had always been number 2 on the list. The problem is Lamar Jackson was like a long first.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you had those.
Yeah,
like,
you
had Mahomes would be in the conversation if he didn't get hurt. C-Mac had his chance at one point. Trying to think who else was in the conversation at one point. Brady was.
Tom Brady.
Brady was
yes, he
at
was.
the beginning of the season, but then that really fell back. So,
I thought there was another.
I don't know. Rodgers.
Oh, no. There
really wasn't anybody else after that. There really wasn't.
Oh yeah, Lamar Jackson stole. But yeah. The reason why I bring that up is that, you know me, Danny. I like the Eagles for sure. These are two teams that tug on my heartstrings right here. I actually have Seattle pajama pants. They're very nice.
Yeah, he does.
Very cozy. But looking at Philadelphia +7.5 at home, that's so tempting. But God, Zach Ertz is hurt with those fractured ribs.
Broken, fractured ribs, whatever, along with a lacerated kidney. Miles Sanders also got hurt in the last game, so he's questionable to start or to play.
And then their receivers,
no wide receivers
are non-existent. Yeah. Oh wait, D-Jax?
No,
Jackson?
Most likely not.
No.
So even if like Ertz plays, even if Sanders plays, they're not 100%. So that's why I originally was wondering about if Seattle is the better choice here, because if I expect Seattle to win, then I should just take 4.5 points with them.
Yeah, this match is kind of like walking into a UFC match in the third round. Everyone's like bleeding, they're busted up, and they're just like, all right, who's got more to give in this tank?
Yeah, who's gonna be able to give out what's left? Because neither of these defenses is any good. Philly's got a nice run defense, but that's about it.
Wait, you didn't say whoa. Did you just say none of these defenses are really good?
They're not.
I mean, when they were healthy, the Seattle defense
was
okay.
All
right. But I mean,
they're healthy now, bro.
I'm just saying, like, all right, we take it at face value, right?
Yeah,
like, by the numbers, stars are playing, hands down. that defense is not bad.
No, yeah, they're good.
First of all, they stole one of our boys,
yeah,
Jadeveon Clowney, and he's been.
But also, this obviously is not the Legion of Boom that was 5 years ago.
This is true.
So it's a different story. But it's hard to really predict it because the defenses are wide open. Seattle struggled in holding off people with points, and Philly's pass defense is terrible. I mean, Eli Manning almost beat them.
You know what? This is so bad, but Seattle lost to the Cardinals. The Cardinals.
That was tough because they lost their running backs. They lost both of their running backs in that game.
Which they only have one now, which is Marshawn Lynch, and he's just.
No, they got Homer. I think.
Oh, okay.
He had a nice game.
Yeah.
He had a pretty nice game.
Okay.
But I'm going to be back and forth on this game because I don't know whether 4.5 Seattle or 7.5 Philly is the better bet. Again, this is a game in which if this game stays close and Seattle wins, then both teasers hit. But with a lot of the sharps saying that Philly is the best choice here as a home dog, there are a lot of them are trying to justify the fact that for what reason is Philadelphia a home dog here? Do you feel like they should be a home dog or they should be a home favorite? Because right now I feel like this game is a pick'em. There should be zero favorite. It should just be a pick'em.
Okay, I feel that coming in, there's a lot of hype with Seattle. I think
of course, but people also realize that they got a ton of injuries.
Yes. Yeah. But at the same time, these Eagles, I hate to say it, they aren't that good.
They're not.
They're just whatever you want to call it.
They found ways to win.
Danny and I can say that the Patriots, one of their reasons why they've been so successful this season is because their schedule was very easy.
Very easy. That's true.
Super easy.
They had one of the weakest schedules in the league. I think they were ranked something like 29th in strength of schedule.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and they just played. But regardless, and you look at Philly over the past 3 weeks, which you were saying, they got to have good form. Yeah. They got to have some good defense. They're building some momentum.
I don't consider them having good defense.
Okay.
They are building momentum. I will give you that. They are building good momentum, but they, defense wins championships, but I don't feel like they've got like that, man, that's a scary defense to go against. Buffalo has a scary defense. Tennessee
which I was concerned for the Texans.
But I don't feel like Philly's like, oh man, I'm worried we're not going to get enough points on the board. If anything, you're like, man, how many touchdowns can I get thrown against the Philly D?
Okay. I do see where you're coming from. But at the same time, you're talking about a team that in the past weeks, they have been put in must-win situations.
Yeah, I know, but every game in the playoff is now must-win. And it's not like Seattle can take the day off.
Dude, you're talking about a team that, I guess, was it favored against the Cowboys or no?
No.
Right.
They were the dogs.
All right, they were dogs, the Cowboys.
And I said they were
beat them up.
And I said they were the choice to take in Week 16.
That's right.
I didn't bet them, but I said they were the choice to take.
I was actually very surprised. I was like, oh, he's jumping on this boat? Yeah. And I was surprised when the Sharps.
And all the Sharps were as well. So.
Right. And so, again, and then, of course, they go to New York, where it's like, oh, they got to win to get in.
There were a bunch of Sharps saying New York was the choice. And I was like, there's no way.
Oh, my God,
there's no way New York is the choice. There's no way. It's not choke. You don't choke if you suck. You understand that concept, right, dude?
Yeah, but I mean.
That's not choking. That just means you suck.
Well, this could mean that you're sucking too.
Sure.
Dude.
No, but I mean, there's absolutely no way that the Giants were good enough to warrant a bet in that game, in my opinion.
I just feel I feel like this line will actually move.
No, this line will not move. This line will stay.
Oof.
None of these lines will move. The only one that could move is Houston and Buffalo. Tennessee might move. If anything, I'm hoping come Friday, Saturday, Tennessee, the Tennessee game, I'm hoping New England gets more action on them. Because if I can miraculously get 12 on Tennessee, that's going to feel so good.
That's a fishy line, though. I got to tell you, guys, done a lot of betting in my time, and this is just a game where you don't really want to bet. It's like, it will be fun to watch, per se.
Which game?
This Seattle
Philly?
Seattle,
it's going to be close. That's why right now, if I feel like it's a close game, I got to take the points with Philly.
See, I'm more of a guy that says that, okay,
Well,
Philly,
do you like anything in the over-under then? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to actually go for the under.
No. neither of these defenses hold up very well. And if your defenses aren't very
Man,
good, if your defenses aren't very good, what do I say? That means your offense excels. Also, the over now is under 40 points, which is a number that I love. Under 40 points, it's 39.5, 20 to 21 gets you the over. And I can easily see this game being 20 to 21.
I just feel that,
5 touchdowns.
Playoffs bring
6 touchdowns.
a different element.
True.
To this.
That's very true, but we're not talking about needing 30 to 31. We're talking about 20 to 21 here.
Dude, I'm feeling like they're going to be like in, probably, I want to say like 17 to something. I just don't see
17 to 28, that's the over.
Okay, that's the over, but that's
17 to 21 is the over.
That's definitely the under too.
Yeah, true.
All right, but
17 to 21 is also the over.
Yeah, the way that these offenses are playing right now.
My math is bad. 17 to 24.
You're a terrible math agent.
17 to 24 is the over. It's midnight right now. I'm tired.
Anyways,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, okay, I can see where you're getting with the over.
I mean, the reason why is because I don't feel like either of these defenses are stout enough to really stand up and stop somebody, even with all of the depleted offensive weapons that are not there anymore. Obviously, Seattle has shown they can put up some points with their 4th wide receiver and their 3rd running back or 2nd running back or whoever.
Man, Josh Gordon, what a letdown.
Yeah.
Man. So
that's why I feel like the over's gonna get there, and there is a possibility. There's always a possibility if defenses are open. If your defense opens up, that means you're open to points, and an under can sink you. Now I think I actually feel like this game all 4 teasers can hit. Very possible.
I feel like that way too.
Very, very possible.
Oh man, I'm a little torn. I
am too. I'm gonna be back and forth on this game, but right now where I stand, because I have to make a choice right now. I have to take the points with Philly. It's the home dog. You're giving me a touchdown in a game that I perceive to be very close. I'm gonna take the points.
I'll go with Philadelphia too.
Okay.
Only because.
Well, you were literally thinking like I was earlier. You were thinking Seattle earlier. And
yeah,
you get Seattle with a field goal to lose.
I mean, yeah, but Seattle, I think they're kind of like on their make it break it too, because Wilson's been there for a while, and they've had
not too long. I mean, he's
been
at his peak. He's like at his peak right now, so I don't feel like that is something to really worry about. I mean, you got like came in the same year as Andrew Luck and RG3, so.
Well, actually, you know what? I just realized. Is this Carson Wentz's first playoff game?
Possibly.
I think it is. Huh.
Possibly. But it's different. Wentz has a lot of experience, so I mean he's got a lot of experience.
He's got a lot of experience sitting on the bench.
He's hurt. He has a Super Bowl ring.
That is true. God. So is Nick Foles. Wow.
Yeah, well he won.
Bold train, baby. The bold train.
Bold train does nothing.
But yeah, now that I think about it, Philadelphia does. I mean, everyone has something to prove, but especially Philadelphia with Carson Wentz being young, and just all these guys. I mean, they have no wide receivers. Like literally.
Greg Ward's come out pretty good. Dallas Goedert, and if Miles Sanders plays, he's good out of the backfield. So, but that's really it. That's really it.
That's slim pickings. Yeah. But then if you look on the other side, Seattle has slim pickings too. You got
you got Lockett. Lockett's super solid.
Lockett's okay. He's all right.
DK's not bad. You got Josh Gordon.
Metcalf. No, Josh Gordon's gone.
He's gone. That's right. It's Jaron Brown, and then they've got 2 tight ends.
And they
Jacob
got
Hollister and Luke Wilson.
Marshawn Lynch.
Lynch is gonna have like 15 touches at the most.
15 touches, 2 touchdowns. Bet.
Now that might happen.
Bet.
Hey, you can make a player prop out of that.
A player prop. Bet.
Right. So that's a tough decision on both of us, and that line possibly can move, but I don't see the line moving. I'm waiting on injury reports more than anything else for that game.
I'm just racking my brains here. I think my heart wants to bet Philadelphia, but my brain is actually telling me to bet Seattle.
All right.
And I don't know. And that's That's just my thing.
But you've already made your decision on Philly, so that's the recommendation you're making for it right now. As we've said before, people, take all of the information that you have, take your analytics, take your numbers, along with injuries, situations, weather, and everything, and then make your decision on what you're betting. Don't just take what we're saying right now. Take all of the information that you can get, make the correct teaser, and that's why we tell you individually what we like in each game, but that's why we come with a total what he calls a no sweat bet, or what I call a teaser lock, where you feel super safe about this. And we'll get to that here in a minute, but I want to change things up a little bit because I always like finishing with the teaser lock, but I want to go to the Super Bowl winning odds, and I have them down here for all 12 teams. The line has changed since I put this down, but this just gives you a general idea of where each team is in terms of Super Bowl odds. I already know these numbers came from the Westgate Superbook, but this was probably back from early afternoon to late morning. So in the AFC, Baltimore is plus 200 to win the Super Bowl. Remember, this is Super Bowl odds to win. Baltimore plus 200, Kansas City plus 400, New England plus 1,600, Houston and Buffalo are plus 6,000, and Tennessee is plus 8,000. On the NFC side, San Francisco is plus 350, New Orleans is plus 600, Green Bay is plus 1,000, Seattle is plus 4,000, Philly is also plus 4,000, and Minnesota is plus 5,000.
Oh, no.
Now, a lot of these lines have changed. I will say that because I think Baltimore's down to 185, Kansas City's under 400, and I think New Orleans is at 500 now. San Francisco's down to 250, and I think Green Bay may not be at 1,000 anymore. But if you had to take Super Bowl odds right now, I mean, based off of these numbers, and they're slightly skewed a little bit, do you as a Super Bowl futures pick, who do you take?
Oh my God, winning
has to win the Super Bowl to get your payout.
Okay.
A
couple scenarios. I feel, first of all, your team's got to get there.
Correct. You have to look at your scheduling and who you're going to run into after.
Who does Baltimore play?
They play the lowest seed. It doesn't matter. They play the lowest seed.
Oh, well.
So the only team they cannot play is
KC.
New England.
No, because KC is what?
2.
Okay.
Are you talking about?
Are you talking
about post division, or are you talking about just overall? They can play anybody. They can play anybody.
So do you feel like Baltimore will win over KC?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. I actually knew that, America. I did know that. Because that's what he's leaning.
I've been talking about this for a week now, and I asked you for the lines, and you never got them for me, so I looked them up.
That's the sign of a degenerate, y'all.
I'm just looking for something. That's all. I didn't say I was going to bet. I just wanted to see the numbers.
Yeah. I totally agree. For me, I've been writing on it this whole year.
Lamar Jackson.
Say it, Danny. Say it.
Yeah, right. You can ride your MVP, but I'm a full believer that you don't hold your form throughout the season.
Ooh.
At some point, the buck stops. The bus stops at some point, or at least slows down. I don't know who it's going to be, but they're young. They're very talented. They're super athletic, and they're super explosive. I'm not taking anything from Lamar Jackson. He definitely deserves the MVP, but you lack a certain amount of dimension in that team. Now, they're super good at what they do, but if you can, as with any other team or any other player, if you find your niche where you can stop them, you can stop the team.
That's
and
true.
I feel like if you can contain Lamar Jackson, then you can contain the entire team. It's the same thing with Brady for the longest time. If you can double cover most of Brady's receivers, and you can pressure him with just 4 people, he's going to struggle. It was the same with Peyton Manning against the 3-4. Peyton Manning only struggled against the 3-4. That's why the Texans had good success against him. It's all about finding the niche of stopping a team. And I feel like of all the teams that can stop Baltimore, I actually really think it's going to be KC. They've got enough offense that you have to play catch up to them, and their defense is really, really good. And again, I follow the trend, or at least that's the trend that I like, and I'm usually not big on it. I like the teams that are getting hot. It's what we call peaking at the perfect time. It's the same thing in the World Cup. Very rarely in the World Cup does the best team starting win the World Cup. It's all about kind of starting a little slow and then kind of gaining traction as you get into the knockout round, i.e. the playoffs. Here in this case, so I feel like KC's already starting to pick up a huge amount of speed. I think that started when they beat New England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. And you know what? The crazy thing about it is that Baltimore has already lost to Kansas City.
Correct. Now, that was a bit earlier in the season. That's changed a little bit, so.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I don't think KC is a bad bet. I feel like they were supposed to be in it last year. Because
they very much
they made a point, like whether or not they had enough time to like they did it. They went to OT against the Patriots, and it was just two great quarterbacks just going at it. I feel that Patrick Mahomes has been doing a lot of growing. I don't see any progress like going backwards.
Right.
I don't see any backward progress. If that doesn't make sense, but he's getting a whole lot better, and he's got the tools this year. Like Danny said, they have a very underrated defense.
Yep.
Very underrated. But ultimately, I do think that the Ravens will come out on top of everybody. I'm a firm believer.
I don't blame you for that. I mean, they're red hot.
Oh, dude, it's not even red. They sat all their starters, and they still won against Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh is just not good. Let's just call it what it is. They had a good run, and they fell off the train.
It
hurts
so much.
It hurts, but it's acceptable because when you're playing with your third quarterback, your number 3 quarterback who's an undrafted rookie, you're not expected to win much, honestly. You take the good with the bad, and at some point steam runs out of your engine.
Bro, look how Denver turned it around with their.
But that's different. That's
Yeah,
their second round draft pick. You're talking about a guy who was undrafted, so it's totally different.
Doug Hodges.
Yeah, it's totally different. So wait, are you of all the 12 teams, would you put a future bet on Baltimore? I'm not asking you who wins. I'm asking you if you had to bet on one of the 12 teams, who are you betting on? Based on the numbers.
Based on the numbers?
Yeah, based on these numbers.
I would love to win $6,000.
No, but you have to take reality into consideration.
That's what I'm saying. So,
that's the point. So I want you to base reality along with looking at numbers. Yeah, Tennessee is great at 8,000. Yeah, I like that they're on a good run. Are they able to beat Baltimore? There's a chance. Will they? Probably not.
If I was going in for the money, realistically speaking, I think Baltimore is playing it safe. Okay. I'm looking at everything, and just, if I wanted to spend that kind of money, I would. However, since we're talking about value on this channel, and we're talking about making...
Well, this is different because we mostly talk about teasers.
Right.
But yeah, I do want to... Part of the point of this was to get into the value.
But I would more so, instead of Baltimore, instead of Kansas City, I would look to the Saints at plus 600.
I disagree with that because... I disagree with that because I had to think about this a little bit more. And if you think about it, New Orleans is going to have to play on the road outside of the Dome. And usually when they play outside of the Superdome in outside weather, they don't do as well.
Who are they playing?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
you got to tell me it doesn't matter
if it's San Francisco or Green Bay. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough road for them.
The fact that New Orleans has a smaller payout than Green Bay should already tell you something. Green Bay is trash.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Right? No.
You talk about a team that's found a way to win. They found a way to win.
Oh my God, Danny, I'm not. No, stop talking about Green Bay. We're not gonna talk about Green Bay. No, they should be in prison for how many times they killed my teaser beds. Teaser beds. Okay, couldn't even win that, and you're gonna have.
Well, you're gonna hate this because KC is my play. Obviously, because I love it.
I don't hate it.
But
oh God,
I feel like the best value, and it's an overall feel, along with the numbers that I'm getting, I don't know if I can deny myself 10-1 for Aaron Rodgers. He finds, because he's found a way to do it. He just has. It doesn't look by hook or by crook, pretty or ugly, 3-0, 30-0, 30-33. They found a way to make it happen somehow.
Danny, how is that defense going to stand up against any one of these people?
I don't know, but I'm just talking about just pure value.
I'm talking about value too. About you not wasting your money.
I get that, but 10-1, dude. For Aaron Rodgers, you're talking about. I get it. It's that defense, but the defense has shown up every now and then and figured it out. It's true.
It's not just about the defense, Danny. You're
but
talking about. Okay, just like you said in the past couple of weeks, right? Because I listened to you and I watched the videos. You've been telling me that hey, there's no weapon for him. Jordy Nelson, he's not even on the team anymore.
No, he's not on the
team. Jimmy Graham's old.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham's old. I mean, they funnel it through two people. It's either Aaron Jones on the ground or Devontae Adams in the air. But
you think if we found that out, they wouldn't figure it out either?
No, but they do. But dude, they find a way. They have found a way. Much like the Eagles have found a way to get into the playoffs.
Don't you compare it to my Eagles.
No, I am because they're the number 2 seed. They're the number 2 seed.
I don't know how they're the number 2 seed.
Because they found ways to win. They've won well. They've been winning properly. Now they've lost some like, oh my God, I can't believe they lost that game, or holy shit, that was a really close game. But they've found a way to do it. And so good teams find a way to win. Okay? There's there are two sayings I have for the playoffs. Defense wins championships, and good teams find a way to win. Obviously, they don't have the best defense, but that defense has shown up at times. Green Bay has found ways to win. And we're not talking about just a mediocre quarterback. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who's, it's Aaron Rodgers. He has a Super Bowl. Discount double check. All right? He's found a way to do it. And so I'm talking about just pure value. Aaron Rodgers at 10-1, I will happily take that. However, that's like my 1B. My 1A, because I stand by who they are and I like them as a team. Kansas City at 4-1. I think that is where it's at. Now, probably if I look it up right now, Kansas City is probably not 4-1 at this point. They're probably 3.5 to 3 3/4.
Wow, that's so crazy. New England plus 1,600.
Oh, dude, there's a chance New England doesn't get out of the wild card. And that there's like a legitimate chance that New England does not get out of the wild card.
That's scary.
It's reality is what it is.
Man, wow. In my lifetime. Welcome to 2020, guys. Yeah, for me.
I mean, age catches up to I've been telling myself this along, for 3 years. I'm like, it will catch up to him one day. And you have a lot of the sharps who are like, man, I just can't stand in front of Brady and Belichick in the playoffs. I'm like, I can. I get 11 points. It's a legitimate puncher's chance to win. Yeah, I'll stand in front of them. I stood in front of them 5 times this season. I picked up, and I've won 4 out of 5. Yeah. I have no issue standing in front of them. The numbers have to play in correctly, and I'm going to have a certain bias against them because someday you will fall. And, everybody falls. And you hear all of this. You hear so many people say, well, I don't want to be the one, I don't want to be the one that has to stand in front of them. They will fall, but I just don't know when.
Yeah, that's like saying that every car needs gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but I'm just saying, dude, Tom Brady, man, I don't care. That's crazy.
You tell me. Okay, so here, let me put this. It's not the greatest perspective, but let me put a perspective like this. If you take Tom Brady and you put him on a college team, and then you put him up against, your average run-of-the-mill NFL team. Yeah, it's Tom Brady, but you're playing with him with a bunch of college kids versus a bunch of grown men. That's essentially what I feel like that offense is doing right now. That offense has a bunch of kids around Tom Brady. And this isn't Tom Brady of,
yesteryear.
5 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
He's older. So, I still stand by this. One big hit and he's done. One big hit and he's done.
Okay.
And he doesn't do well with pressure in his face. So.
God, but
That's why he's 16-1, and that's why I actually agree.
He's the GOAT, man.
That's why I agree. The number is correct at 16-1, and I'm not going to bet on it. So, okay, I understand why you want the safe bet on Baltimore. I just feel like they're going to run into an issue at some point. They're going to get figured out within these playoffs.
Next year.
I just do.
Next year.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's why we vary on opinions and we take our analysis.
But you don't like the Drew Brees pick? You don't like the New Orleans pick?
No, because they have to play on the road. They have to play on the road either in both the divisional and the conference championship. They have to do it twice.
If it's anyone who can do it, it's Drew Brees.
I don't know.
Man.
Part of the reason why, okay, so here's part of the reason why I like Green Bay, because I think they have a really nice road to get to the championship, because they got the bye. Yeah. They're at home. So they'll most likely get New Orleans at home. Very beatable. Okay. Now, if everything goes the way it should, the number one plays the number two. San Francisco plays Green Bay. For some reason, and I know part of the reason why is because of injuries, San Francisco has been having some issues on defense, and that leaves them susceptible. I mean, they almost let Seattle win.
That's if they don't outscore your Packers.
But they barely. I mean, their offense almost didn't keep up with Seattle. If Seattle scores, they win. Thus, the offense didn't keep up.
Yeah,
with
that's true.
Seattle. So that's why I feel like they have. This isn't just about the team on its own. You're talking about the path that they have to go.
I actually think that San Fran is fizzing out. By the way,
that's why. And I think, and part of that's because of injuries, and that's why it's tough for me to take San Francisco. So that's why amongst the NFC, the value is in Green Bay.
Okay, yeah. I can agree with that. Everything except that it's just
they're just not going to beat Lamar Jackson. Who do you think is going to get?
No,
I get it.
No, Danny, it's just that whenever we talk about these bets, these gambling things, it's just we're always looking for a form of consistency, and that is definitely
he's consistently found a way to win. That's what I say.
You can say that, but. Also, on my end, he's consistently found a way to disappoint me and just
I get it, but I don't buy into my analysis and bias. I mean, let me rephrase it. Sorry, I always buy into my analysis and some of the biases that I have. I don't necessarily buy into the fact that he struggled. I'm going by pure numbers. So, in this case, I'm just going to really take what I think is best in that situation. But that's just, neither of us are really going to bet on these Super Bowl odds per se. I might. But,
that's exactly what I look at.
I love KC. But
yeah, you're going to ask me for the lines and not bet, huh? Okay.
I was curious, all right, and I wanted the number for my own purposes. You still owe me them. But we'll see if we bet them or not. So we'll move on now to the actual part where we give you guys our best advice, and we're going to give you our no sweat bet / teaser lock here. So let's get drum roll into that now. Yeah. So I have mine written down here already, and I tend to think there are two things that I have to say about this. Number one, I have Tennessee at +11 and New Orleans at -1.5. I might change this to Buffalo +8.5, but I haven't.
Wow.
I haven't yet because I still love the number 11 at Tennessee. New Orleans, obviously, I feel like is going to win. But I feel like Tennessee's going to keep their game close.
Danny, that's such bad juju. You're really going to bet against the Titans?
It's okay.
You know what?
I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'm saying they're not going to win by more than 8 points.
The city needs a championship, Danny.
That's fine. They can win this game by 7.
You know what? I'm going to be so happy when the Texans advance and beat KC.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
I'm a realist fan too.
Sure.
I don't think that's. Although, now that I think about it, we did go to Arrowhead Stadium and beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but he was just coming back off injury. So that was tough. That's been tough.
Yeah. But go ahead. You want to take Tennessee
+11? Right now, I stand Tennessee +11 and New Orleans -1.5.
Okay, I can dig with that.
But you're not digging exactly with matching it.
I am a little
skeptical.
I'm a little torn. First of all, I feel like I should bet the no sweat bet. I think is going to be on Saturday. So you got
Yeah. Okay. So amongst the games that have the least variance, if you want to feel more comfortable, the Saturday games are a little more comfortable. However, I feel like New Orleans is just going to win this game, so that's why it's a lock for me almost.
right. And I like that because I would have bet exactly the same thing, but because of my strategy is that I just got to take it day by day.
Yeah, day by day.
Or game by game, one play at a time. You know, just like good old Tom Brady says, one play at a time, guys, one play at a time, one play at a time, and one bet at a time. So I would like to start off Houston.
Plus 3.5.
Plus 3.5.
Okay.
We're going to win. We got this.
If you couldn't tell, there's a little bias right here.
Right there. Put it on. And the next game, I cannot believe I'm going against. Well, first of all, me and Ryan Tannehill can't believe we're going against Tom Brady.
But you're standing in front of him again.
I am. I'm not scared. Not really.
See,
a little bit. A little nervous.
But you're taking it the wrong way because you're not betting against New England to lose. You're saying New England's not going to win by more than 11 points.
This is true.
That's what I think a lot of people don't realize in these situations is that, I'm picking Tennessee, but I'm not picking Tennessee to win. I'm saying Tennessee don't lose by more than 11 points, which is super feasible in this case.
Well, you know, Danny, like... you always win your bets, and I just always like to have a nice little assurance of mine too, which we all do. And
that's why taking an extra 6 points going up to 11 makes it a little more of a less sweating.
Nice.
I'm still gonna sweat. It's money on the line.
No, don't sweat it.
And
I think
cursing later on, but it is what it is.
That's not cursing. Come on, I think
it is for me. I cursed how many times?
I think I would enjoy New England not being present in the playoff picture anymore as a Texans fan, because I know we can beat the Titans. Oh, do we? Can we? Yeah, the Texans can beat the Titans. We beat the Patriots too, and that's actually how we went into that Denver game and just got destroyed.
But it's different. But it's different now because it's playoffs, and you can't move on to next week. You have to win.
Right. So my no sweat bets. Only because of the schedule, only because we have another day to live.
So Houston,
if you lose. Houston
plus
3.5. Tennessee plus 11. My God. And that's, if I wanted to stack a game, it would have to be that New Orleans. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
so
I do.
I would just mix up any one of those Saturday games with the New Orleans game too.
And I said this earlier. I said, there's a really good chance multiple teasers hitting across the entire weekend. So don't be surprised if all these games stay really close and theoretically all 8 teasers hit. It's happened once before. Is it likely to happen again? Not really, but you can feel like if you're me, for example, and you think a lot of these games are close, both teasers should hit, assuming the favorite wins, because Houston can win by a touchdown. Houston can win by a touchdown. That's close. That covers. Houston can lose by a field goal theoretically if their offense doesn't really show up. That also covers. Tennessee can lose by 10 points, touchdown, a field goal if they kind of struggle. New England can get upset in a 20-21 loss, and still cover. Mm-hmm. So that's a case. This is a case of, I feel like there's enough variance in range that a lot of these teasers. My prediction is about 6 teasers hit, 6 spread teasers hit, 6 to 7. I don't think all 8 are going to hit, but I think 6 or 7 are going to hit.
It's a fair assessment.
Yeah. So I'm with him though. I am feeling like I'm going to stack. So because of the way I want to stack like him, I'm going to change it though. I want Buffalo at 8.5. Because I want the points, and I think Buffalo has a legitimate chance to win this game, especially if Houston doesn't show up. And then I want Tennessee.
Oh, we're showing up.
Yeah.
We're going to show up, Danny.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Defense might not, but just saying.
What? Dude, JJ's coming back.
I don't care. He's hurt.
He hasn't been doing HEB commercials. He hasn't been doing anything but getting ready.
Sure.
And he is ready,
okay.
Guys. Watch it this
clearly
Saturday.
Clearly, there's no bias in his analysis.
No, there's not. Very fair and objective.
Yeah. And then if I'm gonna play the Sunday for Sunday, I'm gonna go New Orleans, and I'm gonna go Philadelphia.
Oof, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Because I got to take the points there, but there's all gonna be variable change and everything, and I have to consider some of the analysis that I've done taking some of these overs or unders, depending.
I just really want my stat to improve. I know,
And I said it earlier. If I like Tennessee enough, I can sprinkle the money line.
Oh God, you just really want to make me upset, huh, Danny? 2020, Happy New Year. God, it's ridiculous.
Hey, if I hit them all, you coming along? Are you gonna be like, God, I should have followed Danny?
Exit stage right, guys. Exit stage right. God,
It worked 2 weeks ago. You followed me.
That's true.
You followed me, and then it kind of failed this week. But I mean,
Very true.
It's gambling. It's betting. You're betting on humans doing things, and sometimes things aren't going to go through. But I feel like I feel really solid on these bets. I'm with some expectation to the line possibly changing. Maybe in the New England game may get a better number, but for the most part, these lines aren't going to really move. At least I don't feel like they are. The only lines that might partly move are the totals. That's really it. The totals can shift a little bit, but the spreads likely will not change that much.
I can agree to that.
Yeah.
God, I'm telling you, it's going to be a pretty
It's
awesome
gonna be
playoff week.
It's gonna be awesome, but it's also gonna be a nail bite. It feels like it's gonna be a lot of nail biting. I think, but I'm willing to kind of put myself out there and go with the initial analysis that I'm feeling now, along with taking what news I get comes Saturday and Sunday. So.
Yeah, I can. God, Danny, really? Oh, God. For everything that we talked about this whole season. First of all, as we go into the playoffs, I just feel like now our videos, well, actually, this is Danny's project. I was brought in as a nice little guest, nice little contrast.
Yes, you're a big part of this, man.
Yeah,
You're the
this is
entertainment. I'm the technical information. You're the fun entertainment.
This is very true. And not only that, but we do provide really good information. But going and looking ahead of our next season, you know, and looking at things that we want to do for this project and this channel. I think you have a couple announcements for that, Danny. Are we moving channels or something?
Well, we've already moved moved. I've already moved it to the new channel.
There you go.
Teasing the NFL here. I was gonna make an announcement, but I figured that I can already just move the videos here because we don't have exactly a following right now. So just
Not
getting
yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna try and build the following as we go along. But, you know, this is the permanent place where all of Teasing the NFL is going to be. This is the Teasing the NFL channel. This is where all the content's coming from. So if you could, please like these videos, subscribe to us, give us a thumbs up, comment if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, if you think we're stupid or if you think we're geniuses, if we think you're ugly as shit, or if we're...
Who is going to write that?
I don't know. People, have you ever read YouTube comments, dude? People make the most asinine comments to the smartest comments and everything in between, dude. So... people have an opinion, they're going to yell it out. And I want to hear people's opinions if they like what we're doing here. If we're providing you any good information, let us know, because this is still a work in progress for us. So, especially for me, I'm getting the format of all of this. You know, do you like this straight run through all the games, or do you want, in this case, 4 different videos of each game broken down in a separate video for our final final no sweat bet / teaser lock? So, you know, I'm going to be playing around with that come next season, but we're going to, unless something changes, this is kind of the way the format's going to stick right now. And I added the Super Bowl odds just to add a little more content, have a little more fun, and think about the analysis of these teams.
Yeah, I think this has been a pretty good project for me too. Just learning how to kind of orate and just kind of spiel out your ideas. It's very entertaining. Yeah. I need to stop saying and like a little more. When you watch yourself, you get to...
it's a lot different when you watch yourself.
See a lot of things.
I've spent time behind the camera. I've spent a little bit of time in front of the camera. I've done voiceover work, so I understand how to get, you know, somewhat prepared for this. But even now, I've still got technical issues, and I'll still forget some of the stats that I have, because it's a lot of numbers you have to go through after a while, and you're putting yourself out there on the line, trying to give out the best information, but it's also partly opinionated. So you're taking everything at face value, because I'm not a professional, obviously. He's not a professional. We don't do this for a living. He has a job. I have a job. This is just kind of a side thing that we think that there's information out there that people are lacking, because people go up and they bet purely on, oh, I think this team's going to win. That's what your average Joe does. And not everybody thinks about the spread calculation. So if you think about the spread calculation, then you have a certain variable to think about. Well, then after you get to there and you figure out what side you like, then you can add your teaser as either an insurance bet or just getting really great value and then seeing if this works for you. That's really the goal, is to get the information out to you, let you think about and see these numbers, and then feel like, is this enough valuation that you feel like you can use it? Whether you do use it or not, whether you agree with it or not, is totally up to you. But we just want to be able to get that information out there, because nobody really talks about it, because there's a lot of people out there who don't either know that you can do a 6-point teaser, or for the fact that you are pro. There are a lot of pros and sharps out there who don't like it because they don't feel like the value's there. But we feel like the value's there because if you put your numbers together properly, and you can see how we've done it in the case of Christmas week for us, it adds up perfectly and everything makes sense and you can make money off of it. So the goal is to just give you all the information, let you kind of digest it the way you want, and then see if it works to your advantage or not. We're here with what we think is our best opinion of the analysis of it. That's all it is. But if you can take anything out of this, take it. I'm hoping that you agree with it. If you don't, that should give you more of a reason to disagree with us and go with your own instinct and opinion of it. Then that's all.
Yeah, and help us help you. I think I noted to Danny, posted it, that we're gonna do some timestamps now. So just in case,
yeah, that takes time for me because I edit this on Fridays. But
just in case, you don't have enough time to divulge and you just want to be, all right, well, the game's coming up and I gotta do this and that. Sometimes life is hectic. We kind of understand. So yeah, again, we're just trying to provide the most information that we can, our feelings, of course, a little entertainment in there.
Of course, he's the entertainment. I'm just here to opinionate against him.
Trust me, Danny is entertaining enough once you get to know us. So, after our big following, we're looking for hair and makeup, we're looking for a camera guy, we're looking for like a sound guy with a boom mic, just everything. And if you want to leave suggestions, don't be afraid.
We're open to it, and
we got hard skin.
Yeah, and if anything, sometimes we need the value of somebody else's opinion because we may not see what is going on. So because I'm pretty narrowly focused right now on just trying to get the information out there because of the timing. I can't do this on a Monday because obviously the lines change, but I also don't want to do this on a Sunday because then people don't get a chance to digest the information. So skipping on Thursday games and then giving 2 days to really digest and analyze all the information gives you enough time to see the lines change, along with seeing the value that you can find.
Yeah. Wow. And by the way, happy 2020, guys.
Yeah, happy New
this
Year.
Was
It
the,
is 2020. It's a new year.
First episode of the new year.
It is.
That's right.
And we're hoping to get you guys off to a really good start. It's going to be a great wild card weekend, honestly. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of these teasers hit, honestly. 6 or 7 out of 8, I feel like are going to hit. It's going to be fun.
I need that.
Yeah.
We need it to it.
We do need it because I'm in the negative now.
Oh, God.
But
okay.
God. And we're going to not necessarily make it up, but we're going to evaluate everything properly. So for Andrew Chang over here, I'm Daniel Saludo. Don't forget to get your bets in. Remember, this is Teasing the NFL here. Like, subscribe, and leave your comments in the comment section below. You can also tweet me. I'm at Daniel Saludo. And if we get enough people to comment, maybe we can make him get it to Twitter as well.
Go ahead. Throw out my what was it? Handle? I was about to say panhandle. I'll throw out my handle.
Throw up a handle for Mr. Chang here.
Make something up.
He's also a poker pro.
I was thinking about above average Asian 69.
Above average, oh my God. Oh God.
I think I might actually look that up.
Let's actually be a little proper, man.
What?
I know.
Anyways, go ahead. Close that.
For Andrew Chang, I'm Daniel Saludo. Make sure you get your. You're so bad, dude.
What? All right. I'm gonna try closing this time.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Go, Dave.
Post that. For Andrew Chang, I'm Daniel Saludo. Make sure you get your bets in. It's only 4 games this week, so get them in properly. Combine them as best as you can. find your value, and don't forget that teasing is good for you.